In less than 30 minutes, we will have NFL football for the first time this year. And this Sunday, our New York Jets will be taking the field. So let's get fired up. Good night. Thank you to everybody for tuning in. I am Rickie, New York. While you're here, please hit that like button and subscribe to the channel. We got lots of great content coming up for you. This Sunday, the New York Jets will take the field for the first time this season. And there is a lot of pressure on Aaron Glenn and this new regime to succeed. But without pressure, there can be no diamonds. So, with that being said, we will see what happens this week. I'm looking forward to it. I'm looking forward to facing Aaron Rodgers. Uh, Tonight's show, I should be joined by BoyGreen. Hopefully, he will be here shortly. Until then, let me give you a few thoughts on what is going on with our New York Jets. I'm looking really forward to seeing how the team performs. We got a big blow this week, losing AVT for the season once again. Now, there were a lot of people who were pounding the table saying, we need to re sign AVT now, give AVT that long term deal. Now, me personally, uh, I was not one of those people because of the injury history and the injury concerns. I was uh, I was of the mind that we should re-sign John Simpson first, and then kind of go into wait and see mode for AVT. Now, with this happening, uh, that feeling is even stronger. I would not give, you know, a lot of people are saying let's give, we could give AVT a 1 year prove it deal. Honestly, I'm kind of ready to turn the page. Um, I would rather not waste any more time on that. And I don't say let's next year we'll draft AVT's replacement. Uh, I don't want to use a draft pick. We didn't draft John Simpson. We were able to find John Simpson through the free agent market, and I would venture to say that that's probably what Muji and Glenn will do in this situation if they do decide to replace AVT. Is I think that they'll look to the free agent market for that. Um, hopefully Fields has a very good year this year, and we're not looking quarterback. But a lot of the questions that people had, number two wide receiver, whatever, like I think those will get answered come next year. But I just don't see using a high draft pick on a guard. Um, let me. I got a few things that I want to go over real quick. Um, Recently, we had cut downs. We had the 53-man roster get announced. And like a lot of people, when I saw that guys like Brandon Smith and Skinner and Pritchett were all left off the 53-man roster in favor of keeping, Xavier Gibson, I wasn't happy about it. You know, I think that we've seen what there is to see from Xavier Gibson, and frankly, I am not impressed. Um, now Aaron Glenn said, in making that decision, they were looking at much more than just the preseason games. There was a lot of practice film to to go over. And granted, they have seen a lot more than we have seen as fans because they see these guys every day. Even the insiders that are on the Jets beat have not seen all there is to see. But Aaron Glenn said when asked about it, when referencing Gibson, he said he's dynamite. Well, that's the thing about dynamite. You know, it certainly it's explosive, but if you're not careful, it can blow up in your face. Therefore, I think that's almost kind of a perfect analogy for Xavier Gibson still being on this team. Uh, he's getting one last chance to prove it, much like Michael Clements, much like several other people. Now, the loss of AVT dramatically impact this game. I think that it could to a certain degree though, but I'm not ready to go into panic mode. I don't think, this is you know, it was a season-ending injury for AVT, and that sucks. I feel really bad for him. I know he's worked really hard to come back and to get to this point, but it wasn't season-ending for the Jets. We still got a season to play. We still got games to play. And the thing is, you always hear next man up, but last year in Detroit, they were absolutely decimated by injuries. Uh, they lost their best player on their defensive line in Aiden Hutchinson right off the bat at the beginning of the year, and he was out for the year. Um, Now this is an offensive lineman, not a defensive lineman, but still, and you could make the argument that AVT is our best offensive lineman. He's looked very good in the preseason. Uh, some might argue that it's Olu. That's neither here nor there. The point is last year, Aaron Glenn, that defense was riddled with injuries. I mean, he had career backups, he had guys off the street, and they were just gonna plug and play whoever they could get in there. And for them to have the amount of success that they did, missing so many people due to injury, like, it shows me that next man up isn't just a saying, it's not, just a philosophy. It's real. And he was able to get that level of production out of those guys that probably should have never been on the field. If he can do that with the majority of his defense in Detroit, I don't see why we can't do that missing only one offensive lineman here in New York. I truly believe that Aaron Glenn is a guy that will get the most out of his players and be that starters, be that backups. I think that he can get the most out. And I'm not as concerned with this injury as a lot of people are. I think we'll be okay. I mean, certainly it's going to hurt to a certain degree, but I don't think it's such a big blow that we can't possibly overcome it. I guess is what I'm trying to get at. Uh, that's going to be a key matchup, I think, in this game. Everybody talking about TJ Watt and how will Membu fare against TJ Watt. You know what? Abdul Carter was supposed to be the best player in this draft. He was the best thing since sliced bread. When the draft was about to happen, that's all we heard about was how Abdul Carter was the top guy, period. And you know what? Our number 3 tight end, Stone Smart, put him on his ass. And that's exactly the kind of thing that I'm looking for with TJ Watt. Whether it be Stone Smart or whether it be Mason Taylor or, God forbid, even Jeremy Ruckert. I think that we're going to have a tight end on that side helping Membu out. I think they're going to chip that guy every chance that they got. Um, also look for, them to, partitions that direction. I'm also looking for the Jets to, you know, have Fields roll out, move the pocket, in order to move away from that pressure. I think there's things, both from a personnel and from a schematic standpoint that they can do to help offset the threat that TJ Watt may present. So even though losing AVT before the season even really starts, that sucks, man. Like, and it hurts. And I'm not trying to downplay it because that is a big loss. However, like I said, I don't think it's too big of a loss for us to overcome. And I really truly believe that in game planning, they're going to have a plan to make up for that. They're going to have a plan how to deal with TJ Watt and how to deal with that Steelers pass rush. Uh, the Steelers defense, like, dude, this isn't like the steel curtain defense. This isn't like the Steelers defenses of old. And, everybody say, oh, Tomlin, it's been so many years. He's never had a losing season. Well, nothing lasts forever. And what you did yesterday doesn't make you who you are today. Okay. This is a completely different team, completely different situation, and anything can happen. And I am looking to give Tomlin a loss to start the year. I am looking to give Aaron Rodgers a loss to start his time in Pittsburgh. And let's move on now from AVT. Let's move on to Aaron Rodgers. Uh, Aaron Rodgers, his press conference that he just did, it was interesting. It was interesting in the way that, he never mentioned Aaron Glenn by name. He never said New York. He never said the Jets. You know, it was almost if he was being a little bit coy. But I'll tell you what, Rodgers, like we all said it when he was here after his injury, like we all said, he's going to be out for revenge. He's going to have a chip on his shoulder. Like that guy has an immense ego, and that playing with a chip on your shoulder thing, like that's real. Okay, and if you don't think Aaron Rodgers is going to have something to prove coming out in week 1 and playing against the team who said, no thanks, dude, we don't want you anymore, you're crazy. Okay. I have a feeling that Aaron Rodgers is going to come out and he's going to try to play his very best ball against us. He's going to try to show Aaron Glenn and Muji and everybody else in this front office and this organization that they made the wrong call by letting him go and turning their back on him. But this is the thing. Aaron Rodgers is no longer MVP Aaron Rodgers. Aaron Rodgers is no longer that guy who's going to take his team and compete for a championship. We saw it when he was here in New York. Yeah, he's still got the arm talent, but he can't move. He is not mobile. That escapability, that ability to extend plays, that whole magic that made Aaron Rodgers, it's not there anymore. And for that reason alone, I think the Jets have got a very good chance this weekend. Yeah, I think that our front four is going to get after him all day long. I think Aaron Rodgers is going to get put on his back multiple times. Excuse me. And I don't even think we're going to blitz like crazy. We might see one or two blitzes, but I don't think they're going to have to blitz to get to him. I think that Jermaine being back, I don't expect a slow start from Jermaine, and I'm going not based off what the team has said or anyone else has said. I'm just going off of what Jermaine has said. He said he's back. He's 100%. He feels better than ever, and I believe him. I know that guy. When that guy says something, you can believe it. Okay, he's not one to bullshit. He's not one to you know, say things that aren't true. I think he's going to have a big impact on this game. Will McDonald with that deadly spin move, and I think he's added some moves to his pass rush toolbox. I think he's going to have a good season. And Quinnen Williams, man, let's not overlook Big Q because yes, we added Briggs, we added Harrison Phillips. Harrison Phillips' first thing said, "I'm going to try to take up some of those double teams and free up Quinnen." And that's the exact thing that we needed. That's the exact kind of guy we needed to have next to Big Q. And Quinnen probably had the very best game of his entire Jets career in Lambeau Field against Aaron Rodgers. He wreaked havoc on Aaron Rodgers that day. Jermaine Johnson, when asked about it, he kind of laughed and he said the first thing he said to Aaron Rodgers when Aaron Rodgers got here was he was glad to have him here, but he was kind of sad because that means he'd never get to sack him. Well, not so fast, Jermaine, because now opportunity knocks. You will get the chance. Not only will he get the chance, I think he will make good on the chance. So I think that's going to be a huge thing for us is our pass rush and how effectively can they get to Aaron Rodgers. The Steelers' offensive line, it was a problem for them last year. It has not looked good in the preseason this year. And I know that it was only OTAs, training camp, etc. But the clips I saw of Broderick Jones getting blown up, and I'm not talking about by TJ Watt. I'm talking about going against like the twos and threes. Uh, that guy looked like a turnstile. I mean, he was getting his ass handed to him all day, and Rodgers was very animated back there, and he was not happy. So, for all those people that bitched and moaned and complained and said, "Oh, New England traded with Pittsburgh and they screwed us, and Pittsburgh moved ahead of us, and they took Broderick Jones and they took the tackle we wanted." Well, not so fast. Careful what you wish for, people, because Broderick Jones, in my estimation so far, that guy has looked like hot garbage. And I have not been impressed at all with what I have seen from him. So I'm looking forward to seeing what our defensive line can do against this rather porous, in my opinion, Steelers offensive line. The next group that I would like to talk about is our secondary. Uh, Sauce Sauce has played against DK Metcalf before, and he did very well against him. Aside from DK Metcalf, George Pickens is gone. They don't have a lot of proven guys. Brandon Stevens has looked very good in the preseason. You know, if you're talking about Brandon Stevens on Calvin Austin, I'm not scared of that matchup. Roman Wilson, who had kind of an uneven rookie year that was hindered by some injuries. I liked Roman Wilson coming out of college, but against Michael Carter II, he don't scare me. That matchup doesn't scare me. Yeah, I think our secondary matches up very well against the receivers they have. My Probably my biggest concern with their pass catchers would probably be Fryermuth or like their tight ends. Will our linebackers, will our safeties be able to cover the tight end and take that part of the game away? If they can and they can do that effectively, again, I think this is going to be a defensive game. I think this is going to be a low scoring game. It's probably not going to be a lot of fireworks. However, I I think that the defense is going to carry the day. Okay, I see that my guest is here now, so I'm going to bring him on. Uh, Boy Green, welcome to the show, man.
Hey, hey, what's up, Ricky? Sorry, I couldn't find in the call-in line, and I thought you sent it somewhere, so I was trying to look around for it. So my apologies, totally on me for trying to get on. But thanks for holding down the fort, and the season just officially kicked off on this projector I have in the room. So that's terrific. And Ricky, you've been building something beautiful over here. So thank you so much for having me on. Football's back, baby.
Yes, it certainly is, and that's my bad. I probably should have sent the call-in link to your Twitter X, whatever they call it these days, whatever the kids are calling it these days. Uh, However, at the last minute, uh, I was rehanging the banner in the old studio and kind of doing some minute things. It's funny you said building because that's literally what I've been doing. Uh, so apologies uh, from me on that. I should have been more on top of that and not doing so many last minute things.
Well, that's
Uh,
okay, but let me
oh,
make it up to you, Ricky. Let me make it up to you. And I'll do it with this.
okay.
I just posted this story right before I came on. Rich Samini
Mhm.
just talked about this on his podcast, the Flight Deck podcast, and he predicts that the Jets are about, or not about to. We don't know exactly the timing of it, but the Jets are going to strike a trade for an offensive lineman to help replace the void left by Elijah Vera Tucker. I put out the clip on Twitter, wrote a story about it. That's up everywhere. And we don't know who that offensive lineman is. I looked around, and you're not going to like, I'll give people a spoiler alert. You're not going to like the name that I came up with for a potential answer. But I think it's great news that is what Darren Muji is hopefully looking to do here. I don't know what offensive lineman is going to be available right before the season that another team is going to be willing to part with. But hey, Darren Muji found Harrison Phillips, and I didn't even know he was available.
Right. Yeah. So it would be hard to imagine a team getting rid of, a top tier offensive lineman before the year even kicks off. But you know what? I have faith in this regime. And like I was saying, just prior to you getting here, like last year, Detroit's defense was riddled with injury, and next man up, it wasn't just some, saying that people say like Aaron Glenn made that a reality. He plugged and played, backups and guys off the street, and they still played at a very high level. So next man up is a very real thing. I think we've got the right coach to get the best out of whoever we line up, and I was just saying also, leading up to the draft, Abdul Carter was the greatest thing since sliced bread. Our number 3 tight end, Stone Smart, put him on his ass.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm looking for a little Stone Smart, Mason Taylor action, and we're going to chip TJ Watt all day long. I think schematically, there's going to be things that they're going to game plan in order to help make up for that loss.
Yeah, I think you're right. Again, I would say the immediate move, Aaron Glenn has not announced anything yet officially in terms of that roster transaction. Aaron Glenn is set to speak to the media tomorrow morning, right before noon. And I would imagine at that point, perhaps we learn the answer. One possibility is Marquise Hayes. He's a guy that performed very well in the preseason. He's on the practice squad. There's a spot to be had, obviously, immediately on the 53-man roster to take AVT's place. I think that would make a lot of sense. He is a guard. They need a guard. I'm not saying he goes into the starting lineup. I think it's what everyone assumes it's going to be. We're going to have Olu Muiwat left tackle. We're going to have Simpson at left guard. We're going to have Josh Myers at center. And then at right guard, we're going to have Joe Tippmann, who kicks over with Armand Membu at right tackle. But in terms of a depth piece, that's what I believe we're going to have there. So Marquise Hayes would make sense as an immediate move for the New York Jets. And then, like I said, from a more long-term perspective, we'll try to see if a trade, to Darren Muji's point, or something else can possibly be made there.
Right. I think they'll definitely make some moves. What it is remains to be seen. Um, I'm gonna throw out a couple of talking points and kind of like recap just a little bit, of where I
Yeah,
was before you got here.
sure.
I heard that as I was like sitting here talking to my wife and we were watching TV prior to doing the show, I
Mm-hmm.
heard this saying, and it was such an awesome saying. And
All right.
so I took it and applied it to the show. There's a lot of pressure on this new regime, Aaron Glenn, to succeed. The saying was, without pressure, there can be no diamonds. I like that. I like that.
I yeah, I do like that. And to be honest, I think I talked about this on Boy Green Daily this morning. You know, because I've had a lot of time to, at least from a Boy Green Daily perspective, I've had a lot of time to marinate on the AVT injury before I gave my thoughts because of how it happened and when the injury was reported. And, you know, inevitably adversity was always going to hit, whether that was an AVT injury or losing streaks or whatever. Like there was always going to be something that happened. And Aaron Glenn has basically prepared us for that reality to come at some point. It came sooner than any of us would have wanted. And now let's see how AG responds, because that is the first, I guess, if you want to call it that, although there's been other levels of adversity for other varying perspectives, the Justin Fields dislocated toe and stuff like that. But it was the first or one of the big firsts, but it won't be the last. There's going to be more adversity inevitably that hits us here from a Jets fan perspective. And, you know, there's no one I'd rather go to war with than Aaron Glenn. And the Jets are very fortunate that they have a Josh Myers. They're very fortunate they have a Joe Tippmann, guys that each have positional flexibility. You know, again, I think I mentioned on the morning show that the Jets have two backups. One is about to become a starter, but two backups in Josh Myers with 56 games of experience and Chukwuma Okorafor with 60 games of experience that they have that they can get to right off the bench. A lot of teams don't have that luxury. So the Jets are uniquely prepared as you can be, because ABT is awesome, but they're uniquely prepared to sort of brace for the stormy waters that are inevitably coming here. So I feel really good about this offensive line. I still think it could be really good.
Yeah, I do too. And you know, I apologies. I'm reading a message in the chat that my fantasy football league is not working correctly, and guys are locked
Oh,
out and
no.
can't make changes to their team. Which,
Oh, good Lord.
I,
Okay.
yeah, I mean, I kind of set. I thought I had my lineup set or whatever a couple of days ago, so I didn't really make
Mm-hmm.
any changes to it. So I wasn't aware of the problem. But Clancy, thank you
Oh,
for
boy.
letting me know. I promise
Oh,
you,
boy.
as soon as this stream ends, I will be going directly there to try to take care of that. I'm gonna throw out a couple of talking points
Yeah, of
and
course. Yeah, lay 'em on
give,
me,
give,
baby.
give
Yeah.
give me your response. We've already kind of covered the AVT thing.
Sure.
Um,
Yeah.
Now, probably like a lot of people, I was a little bit upset when they decided to keep Xavier Gibson over,
Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
and Brandon Smith. Uh, when AG talked about it, he said there's more to look at than just the preseason games. There's all this practice film, and granted, he sees him every day. He sees everything. He sees a lot more than what we see.
Mm-hmm.
But in talking about him, Aaron Glenn said that Xavier Gibson is dynamite. And I said, while dynamite can be explosive, you also got to be careful because it can blow up in your face. Your thoughts?
That's a good way to put it, because I think there are two diametrically opposed things with Xavier Gibson. Apparently, the reason why he quote unquote won the job over Jamal Pritchett is because he's a safer guy. He's a veteran, a guy that they trust to be the punt returner for first and foremost before we get anything to slot receiver or contributions offensively. They believe, hey man, he can catch a punt. And the Jets coaching staff apparently was scared off by Jamal Pritchett's muffed punt that they ended up recovering, but still, like, whoa, if the spotlight's on, can this kid perform in the moment? And while apparently it's true, these are things that we don't get to see, that Xavier Gibson had caught like 65 punts in a row, whatever Aaron Glenn said, like 65 punts in a row without any muff or anything. So they feel good about him. Rich Cimini brought up some statistics from last season that showed a lot of errors with Xavier Gibson in these situations where he did not perform up to snuff. So I guess you can squint and make anything out of anything that you'd like to make it out of. To me, I think when I hear the term dynamite. I want explosiveness. I want big plays. I want upside. And I think the Xavier Gibson story has sort of played out. So, with all due respect to any of Xavier Gibson or his family that could be watching the show right now, very possible. I think the story sort of run its course. He had one great moment in the first game of his career, and it's been all downhill since. I'm ready for a new story. I'm ready for someone to take risks, to not just fair catch every punt, regardless of what's coming at you. I would love to see the Jets go to Jamal Pritchett, and Jamal Pritchett is on the practice squad. So that big red button is in the room for Aaron Glenn to press when he's ready to press it. And I think it happens sooner rather than later.
Yeah, I would agree. I mean, that's kind of the way I felt. Like, I think we've seen what there is to see from Xavier Gibson, and I wish that I could say that I had utmost confidence in him to catch a punt. Like now, I know that he can fair catch a punt. I know he can do that. Because it seems like that arm is boy, that arm is waving more than fans at a Florida State game when those punts are in the air. So absolutely, and yeah, I mean that is what it is. Just as you were coming in, I was talking about our secondary
Mm-hmm.
against the Steelers pass catchers. Uh, Sauce has matched up against DK before and played him very well. Calvin Austin versus Brandon Stevens doesn't scare me. Um, Roman Wilson versus Michael Carter does not scare me. We all talk about the loss of Jermaine and everything. The loss of Michael Carter down the stretch last year was a big blow for this Jets team. Michael Carter is, not by us Jets fans, but from people outside of our fan base, I think is very underrated. He's a really good player. If anything worries me about the Steelers pass catchers, it would be Fryermuth. It would be the tight ends. Now, historically speaking, you would say, "Oh, Rodgers loves his tight ends." He sure as hell didn't love Tyler Conklin when he was here. Why? I don't understand. The one game that he decided to feed Tyler Conklin, he had almost 100 yards and he looked great, and then he never went back to him again. Just mind boggling. But if our safeties, if our linebackers can do a good job on their tight ends, I think we can shut their passing game down quite efficiently.
I concur. To me, again, one of the first things I'm doing is slapping Sauce Gardner on DK Metcalf, and he is covering him for the entire football game. Zach Rosenblatt spoke on Jets Final Drive, their SNY TV show, and he says his expectation is that Sauce will travel with DK Metcalf. Now, we've had speculation about it. We've had no confirmed reports that he will for the entire game, and Zach didn't say that specifically, but he did seem to indicate for the majority of the game he will. I think that's great business for the Jets. And now we're playing 10 on 10. It's back in the, Revis obviously is a very lofty comparison to make. He's a Pro Football Hall of Famer and one of, if not the greatest cornerback that's ever touched planet Earth here. And there's a lot of love for that. But the theme of what Revis did was take away the other team's best player. And I think Sauce has an opportunity to do that. He's performed very well against DK Metcalf in the past. So then we have 10 on 10. And I agree. The thing that strikes fear, for lack of a better word, is Fryermuth for sure, and or Jonnu Smith, because he seems to be, I think I spoke with, who was the guy who said that today? I've done a couple of Steelers previews. So it could have been Alex Kazor or Mike Nicastro. But either way, one of them said to me that Jonnu Smith is the number 2 in this passing game for the Steelers, and that he is basically the one to watch. And Jonnu Smith has given the Jets problems in the past, so that's the part I fear. But the good news is that I love our linebackers. We've had linebackers in the past, Rickie. When you talk about David Hitman Harris at the tail end of his career, or go to some of the Bart Scott stuff, whoever, you pick some of these second level players we've had in the past that struggle coverage wise. I feel really good about Jamin Sherwood. I feel really good about Quincy Williams in terms of that matchup. But I think that's the part to fear, not Roman Wilson, not Calvin Austin, but Jonnu Smith, Pat Fryermuth, and some of those opportunities. But the other thing to balance here, Ricky, is you know, from a tight end Aaron Rodgers perspective, he is a guy that does not typically throw the tight end. Now he called it. I heard his Aaron Rodgers' press conference earlier this week. He thinks it's the greatest tight end room he's ever played with. So hyperbole or not, maybe he's going to have a shift of philosophy this year. But yeah, that's the thing to circle if you're a Jets fan.
Definitely, and I keep forgetting about Jonnu Smith, and yes, he has given us problems in the past. I talked about. I think I typed this in the chat in your show. In fantasy, one year I played two tight ends a lot, and I had, prime Delaney Walker and Chargers version Hunter Henry as my two
There you
tight
go.
ends, and
Yeah.
I smoked people with two tight ends. When people were using like second and third round picks to hurry up and try to grab Gronk, I
Yeah.
would be waiting until like round 12, round 14, and snapping up Delaney Walker every year because I'm
There
like,
you go.
yeah, why did nobody draft this guy? Like the Titans had no weapons at all. Like everybody on the field knew he was getting the ball, and still nobody could stop him. I mean, I was a huge, huge Delaney Walker fan. Because just the production was just always there for that guy. And
Yeah.
so, I thought that initially, I remember Delaney saying that, like, oh, this kid that's behind me, he's going to be a good one. He's going to be better than I was. And I think that might have been just lip service to a teammate, but I was looking for really big things from Jonnu Smith, and I don't think he ever quite reached Delaney's level. But he was a very good tight end, and he has given us fits in the past. Um, you know, we saw what Njoku did to us in that Cleveland game. I mean, tight ends have given us trouble at points. But dude, I remember when we were playing the Saints one year. There was this play where like Alvin Kamara leaked out of the backfield, and
Mm-hmm.
the ball went to him like right at the goal line, and Quincy was right there to swat it down. Quincy's coverage abilities are not as bad as what some people make them out to be. And
Mm-hmm.
like you, I'm really stoked about our linebackers. I'm very confident. And watching a clip today, Harrison Phillips said, I have had to adjust my game and adjust my play style because these two linebackers are so fast. And I loved hearing that, man. That was very encouraging to me. Uh,
As it was for
I
me,
can't
I
wait
would
for
Yeah, I would also say this is that you brought it up earlier, but just to give another salute to it, the loss of Michael Carter the second last year. I know he, Pro Football Reference, he appeared or played in a lot of games, but he was just being a trooper for his team. He was banged up all year. Um, when he is right and he's available for this team and he's playing to the best of his abilities, he does so much more than just be a nickel corner. He plays basically linebacker with regardless of the scheme. That's basically what a nickel defender has to do with protecting inside, protecting outside, tackle fits, which are so important. It's just going to be such a relief to have MC2 back. It sucked because last year was bad for a lot of reasons, but right before the year he gets paid, we're all happy for him. He gets hurt immediately and pregame warmups and all these other injuries that he had throughout the year. He tried to battle through it. He played a limited amount of snaps. They tried to make it work. It obviously did not. He is such a big piece of the puzzle. We never talk about him because we talk about Sauce or Quincy or Quinnen or any of these guys. And there's a lot of really good defenders on this Jets team. But love needs to be shown to MC2 100%. I think he's going to remind a lot of people what he brings to the table this year. Yeah.
Now that is a hot take. Damn.
absolutely. I could not agree more. Uh, love me some MC2. Um, real quick, just a side note, real quick, before we get on with more Jets talk and some programming notes as well. Um, in case nobody has seen it, I know Jordan Travis is gone. He never got to play a snap for the Jets, but he has a YouTube show now.
Oh,
Travis Take Two with his brother Devin Travis that played for the Toronto Blue Jays and was an MLB player. And they just had a new episode drop today with Jared Verse that was really good. So I would encourage anybody who just loves hearing some good football talk to check that out. Also, thoughts and prayers go out to freshman linebacker from FSU, Ethan Pritchard, who was shot uh, after the Alabama game. He's in critical but stable condition. So prayers for Pritchard and his family. Definitely thinking about them. Um, as far as programming notes, thank you so much for coming on. Um, with any luck, on Tuesday the 9th, after the Steelers game, after the victory over the Steelers, I should say, hopefully, with any luck, I will have Jake Asman on for the show.
ooh.
I I super chatted him and to kind of ask on the air, so I put some pressure on Jake Asman. So we'll see if me applying the pressure will result in a gem for this show. So we'll see how that turns out. And then also Saturday, September the 13th, I will be joined by Ryan from the Jets Ward. So a couple of good guests coming up. Also talking to Dylan Terriman about another appearance. So
Mm.
we got some good guests lined up for the show. And man, yeah, this thing is picking up steam and starting to really get rolling. And I'm looking for it to even reach another level as the season progresses. I'm a brand new show, just kind of starting out, so I'm hoping we can hit our first 200 followers, but by the time the Steelers game wraps up on Sunday evening. But appreciate everybody who's taken time out of their evenings to tune in and join me here on the show. Appreciate all of you. Without you, this wouldn't be possible. So thank you to everyone.
Yeah, I want to
Now,
jump in here real quick just to say, everybody, make sure you guys like this video, hit subscribe. That will be become a part of the everyday lingo here for Rickie New York Live as he walks around in these content creator shoes. It does make a tremendous difference. It helps get Rickie's show in front of other Jet fans when you guys like the video, because that's how the YouTube algorithm works. So, folks, please show your love for Rickie. What a passionate fan. I've enjoyed his calls for many years on my channel and other channels, learning about, the many exploits of Rickie New York Live. And it's so amazing, so cool. And in a, I guess, a weird way, like a proud moment for me when I see you killing it over here in YouTube content creator land. It makes me very proud, and I'm excited and so happy for you and all the great success in the world. So, flex your guest muscles, baby. Let it fly now that we're here in season time. And I can't wait. This is just wonderful. So, congratulations, Rickie, and much more success is coming. I know it.
I appreciate it, man, and definitely, and yeah. Now that the season's here, I'm gonna try to flex those guest muscles as much as I can. Like I said, I've been talking to DT. I talked to Green Bean. We're gonna be doing something at some point in the future. I'd like to have Nick Shine on, but that's kind of a scheduling thing because our schedules conflict so badly, with our work schedules. But I'm eventually going to get him on at some point. But yeah, man, I decided to, not you know waste the payload on preseason games and stuff. I decided to hold off with a lot of the guests and wait till the actual bullets were flying and the season had started. But now that it's here, now that it's upon us, I'm going to try to get as many good guests on the show as we can, and try to bring people the best content that I can. And you know, it's not a bunch of nonsense. It's all ball all day long, and that's what we're here for. Love it, and in the words of Bart Scott, can't wait.
I would
It's
also
been
add
a
this.
long.
Yeah, I would also add this just to say, and again, flex your muscles, get all the guests you want to get on here. And it's great to expand that networking relationship. I love doing it during the season and talking to Steelers people, fellow Jets people, and everybody else that it goes to. But always remember this. It's one of the most overlooked thing in this. People are here for you, Ricky. And I'm not saying don't get other people on the show, get people on the show, but like, for instance, let's say you're efforting Jake Aspen on a Tuesday or something. You get him, great. But if you don't get him, like, the people are here for you. They're always going to be here for you. And you are the secret ingredient to this show's success and all of the success moving forward as people coming in to watch, listen, read, consume things that you bring to the table. So while the other guests are inevitably going to be pretty cool, and of course they will, all the different people and players and analysts and everyone else you're going to have on, just always remember that you are you're the sauce that's bringing everybody here for sure.
Right on. I appreciate that so much, Paul. And I mean, yeah, and the way that I like to look at it is, you know, people like different things. Some people like a more straightforward approach. Some people like the show if there's a little bit of comedy or if it's a little bit quirky but that's the nice thing about, having so many different great Jets content creators is there really literally is something for everybody out there.
Yes.
And, so I'm not trying to parrot Jake Asman or mimic anything else. I'm kind of doing my own thing, giving my own perspective, my own take, doing it my way. It's kind of a New York Jets rock and roll kind of themed thing because that's my thing. And I'm kind of carving out my own niche, so to speak. And, so far it's been going really well and I'm glad people are enjoying it and, looking forward to what the future may bring. But yeah, whether
That's
there's
the key to
guests or not,
success. Yeah.
I will be here. Yeah, I will be here regardless. So, kind of like the mailman, with rain or sleet or snow or whatever, I will be here. You can count on that. Absolutely, for sure.
And I
Um,
love that. And I would just add on to say this about, again, uh, I love that you said it so beautifully. I don't even just want to repeat it, but there's so many flavors. And I mean, I'm going to start naming people. I'm going to miss people, but like, there's just so many flavors out there for whatever you're looking for. Just pure analytics, just pure X's and O's, just pure funny, some combination of both. Like, literally, there's flavors for everybody. So, the other key, of course, is featuring you, but you just being yourself and not trying to be the next blah or the next blee or the next blue. By simply being yourself, that's going to be enough for a lot of people. And obviously, the more you do this, the more confident and more you're going to. I love this and people love this. I didn't like this. I hated this, whatever it's going to be. You're going to get even better and better at finding out whatever that is. So, like I said, this is awesome, and I'm glad to be a small part of it here tonight. This is great.
well, thank you, and I definitely appreciate that. And that's it's kind of true. Like when I first started to do this, I had some people ask me like, why are you doing like a Jets content show? There's like, already a million of them or something. But I've had this idea like literally for years. The very first Ricky New York YouTube video that there ever was a breakdown of Calvin Pryor. Like
Louisville
that's how long
Slugger,
ago
baby.
it was. And it was just yeah, and it was just like some still photos of him with a voiceover from me talking over the slideshow. I didn't really know what to do with it back then, and we went on to have a disastrous season that year, and it's hard to drum up interest in those circumstances. And I didn't really have the idea fully formulated of what I wanted to do. Like I knew I wanted to do some kind of Jets YouTube show, but I really didn't know what. And, since then, the misery has kind of continued. And one day when I was on Twitter, I just happened to see something from Jet Central. And when I clicked on it, it was just him sitting behind the wheel of his car talking about Jets news. And I was like, oh, you know what? That's cool. And this guy seems to really know what he's talking about. And then through him, I found Jake and Green Bean. And when I stumbled upon the Jake Asman show and I saw him taking callers and stuff, because I was always a big caller on like sports talk radio, whether it be the
Sure.
local one here or I used to call in, the national shows all the time and talk to JT the Brick, who's like he's a Raiders insider guy who he actually has a YouTube show now too.
Yeah.
It's funny how this is like the new thing. Uh, but like when I stumbled across Jake's show, I was like, you know what? That's it. That's what I want to do. And
Mhm.
so you know, kind of taking that idea, but putting my own spin to it, doing it the way that I would do it. And, you know, I think that people enjoy, my positivity. I've heard a lot, my optimism, and the fact that I do try to talk about things that maybe some of the other channels aren't, and add my own perspective. But it's been a blast, and you're absolutely right. Those first couple of live shows, I was a little bit nervous, and like if there weren't that many viewers or people weren't calling right away, I was thinking, oh gosh, this isn't going well. And but then the longer I stay on, the more people show up, the calls will start coming in, and the more I've done it, like the more comfortable I got, and like now that I've really kind of got my feet under me, so to speak. Like man, yeah, this thing's really starting to roll and pick up steam, and I'm having a blast. I absolutely love it. And this is a New York Jets content show, and so naturally, the point is we're going to talk about the Jets. But what this show is really about is the Jets fans. It's about our fan base and our community, and just getting to interact with everybody. Dude, I've met so many great people through the process of doing this. Whether it's in the chat, on Discord, whatever. I mean, I've made a lot of really good friends, and developed some really cool relationships through doing this. So, yeah, it's a talk about the Jets show, but really what it is a platform for all of us Jets fans to connect, and a place to come together, make friends, and yeah, talk about our favorite team. But yeah, it's all about the community, man, because you'll never find a fan base that's this big and this diehard, despite the hand that we've been dealt. Like, man, we take our lumps and we just friggin' keep coming, baby. There is no better fan base on the planet. I am absolutely convinced of it, and you'll never be able to tell me otherwise.
Yeah, that's a good question and a good thought. Like, man, do other teams do this? In the Cardinals, are there Cardinal content creators just flapping around doing this kind of stuff? I don't know, because this is just the universe that I'm in. And while I do follow the rest of the National Football League, I'm watching on the edge of my seat this Dallas Cowboys, Philadelphia Eagles game. I'm not that deep where I would know how the other content creators are, but I'll just tell you this: that we are very blessed to have this opportunity, and I'm glad that you were not deterred, Rickie, by there being so many Jet content creator shows already, because that'd be a very easy thing to do. Geez, there's 1,000 of them out there. Where do I fit in? What do I do? Just make your show, and your spot will create itself. You'll make your own, place in history with that sort of thing. So, yeah, I don't know how the other fan bases are, but I just know for us in this Jet fan base, I feel very blessed that we have the amount of passion that is clearly here. So I hope the New York Jets do a follow up on the quote unquote Twitter diehards documentary I got to be a part of. I hope they do a YouTube diehards and really try to get some of these wonderful fans that are out here that were not highlighted the first time, that certainly deserve love. I was very lucky, and I still don't know how I was selected when you look at all the wonderful people that are out there. So hopefully they do a sequel soon, because you and so many other Jet fans are so deserving. So I love that you have a show by the people for the people. That's amazing.
Yeah, yeah, and that's exactly what it is. By the people, for the people. Perfect, perfect way to say it. I'm actually working on an intro video for the show right now, and we
Ooh.
literally say that in the intro. It's a show by Jets fans for Jets fans. So, and yeah, I mean there are a lot of other Jets content creators, but you know what? I'm going to be the Jets rock and roll content creator. I'm going to be a little bit crazy. I'm going to be a little bit wild. I'm going to be myself. I'm going to set some shit on fire. We've seen that, and we haven't seen the last of that either. A little spoiler, but yeah, man. So I'm just kind of having fun and doing my thing and doing it my way. And I've been having an absolute blast, man. It's been wonderful, a wonderful journey so far, and nothing gets me pumped up like the New York Jets. And I am so looking forward to this season. Uh, get kind of getting back to the Steelers game.
Yeah, yeah.
Um, one the other thing that I'm looking for is the Fields factor. I think that Jake mentioned it on his show earlier. We didn't get to see a lot of the schematics like the game planning, how it's going to be during the season, during the preseason. Everything was very vanilla. There weren't RPOs there. I mean, even though Fields did run in a touchdown, it wasn't a designed run. It was just things broke down and he took off. But it's going to be really fun to see what Engstrom does with him as far as designed runs, as far as, RPOs, where he's got the option to, hand it off, throw it, keep it. So I'm looking really forward to the Fields factor and seeing, like, Glenn has said it so many times in the past, they didn't feel like he was really given the opportunity to play quarterback. And so to me, it's going to be really fun seeing an offense that's literally built around him and his skill set, designed to get the most out of him. And as I referenced earlier, look what Glenn did with backup players on defense last year in Detroit. Like, can he do that same thing with Justin Fields? Can he do that same thing with Brandon Stevens and some of the guys? And I'll tell you what, the fans weren't happy about Brandon Stevens initially, and
Mhm.
Because Baltimore fans were going, "Oh, we're glad he's gone" or whatever. You know what? If you've got a really good press man corner and you're playing him in a zone system and he doesn't look so hot, like that may not be the player, it might be the system. And so now that he's here and we're going to play a lot of press man, something that's more, fitting for his skill set. Like Brandon Stevens has looked really good, so far. Now we'll see if that continues when the real games start. But I was very encouraged, and same thing with Arian Smith. So doubters be damned. I believe in our coach, and that's the awesome thing about this regime too is Aaron Glenn started out as a scout. Muji was a scout. Like all our leadership has scouting backgrounds. So say what you want, but these guys can evaluate talent, and I really strongly believe in their ability to evaluate talent. So I'm looking really forward to this and seeing how this whole thing comes together.
Yeah, Aaron Rodgers said it earlier today. I wrote a piece about it, about the unscouted looks could decide week one. He says the analytics say between 30 and 40% of things that you see, both the Steelers will see and the Jets will see in a week one game, are unscouted looks. Things that the Jets or Steelers were holding back from the public that they're going to unveil during this week one game. And what that is will be fascinating. And to the point, this is a story I'm going to write tomorrow, so you can have a sneak peek at this, Ricky. You just talked about Aaron Glenn said, like earlier this offseason, they want to allow Justin Fields to play quarterback. And I'm curious to see what that means. Brandon Eccles, a former Jet, said this week as an insult, he said, the key to our victory is making Justin Fields play quarterback. And if we do that, we'll feel okay. So I hope that's plenty of bulletin board material for Justin and for this coaching staff that believes they're going to unlock something here. Say, oh, okay, you're going to let him play quarterback and you think that's going to lead to your victory. We'll prove him wrong. And that's the other surprise factor, right? Tanner Engstrom, what kind of offense he can run? We definitely didn't see it during the preseason. So that's another fun thing to unveil as we're waiting days away, which is crazy to say out loud, from this Jets Steelers game. I'm so excited to see what wrinkles are in this Tanner Engstrom offense that's going to bring this element of Justin Fields that, again, Jet fans have just never seen before. We've seen flashes of Michael Vick. We saw flashes of Geno Smith. Again, if you're old enough for Al Duro back in 1960 for the New York Titans, I mean, we just have very limited samples of mobile quarterbacks and none that have ever graced the Justin Fields level, which has to be exciting for Jet fans.
1960. Goodness, I know that I'm old, but that was a little bit before my time, BG. But yeah, you know what? I'm looking really forward to the Engstrom offense. I think we're going to see a lot of pre-snap motion. I think he's going to scheme guys open, and yeah, I think there's definitely going to be a lot of wrinkles. And to reference the Jake Asman show, I think this offense is going to have more wrinkles than that picture of Big Cho's forehead. So yeah, I'm definitely looking forward this season and seeing what this offense looks like come Sunday. I mean, dude, there's so many things I'm excited for. And I do think it's going to be, somewhat of a low scoring game, a defensive game. But, I've said it before, man, run the football, play good defense. To me, that's Jets football. That's like the Parcells era, the Herm Edwards era, like the Jets football that I fell in love with when I first became a fan. And back when we were a winning team. And that philosophy is back now. I like it. And so real Jets football is back, and with any amount of luck and a whole bunch of effort, winning Jets football will be back as well.
That'd be excellent.
I'm going to go ahead and try to take a caller now.
Yeah, let's go, baby.
I saw he was there before. I don't see him on the screen right now, but we're going to give it a shot and see if he's there. And buckle your seatbelts because it's the beast. And he's not there.
No, too bad.
Okay, we'll try to come back to him. Beast, if you return to your camera, we'll bring you on. I saw him there a minute ago, and then he just disappeared. And who knows what he could be up to?
That's true.
That's
a good point.
You never quite know with the beast.
Yeah.
He could be drilling something. He could be building something. He could be walking to the suburbs. You just never quite know what he's up to.
I like the unpredictability. That's
Possibly
always
Clancy.
Well, that too. Yeah, that's a good point.
Yeah. I mean, hopefully that's something that people will enjoy about this show too, is unpredictability and not knowing what sort of crazy ass thing Rickie New York's going to do next. And like I said, I haven't finished lighting stuff on fire yet. When my intro video is completed and it drops, you'll see exactly what I mean by that. But
yeah,
I've been having a whole lot of fun putting all this stuff together. And you know what? I'm not going to keep you real long, and I'm probably going to not go super long with this because we do have the first NFL game of the season on, so
sure.
I'm going to allow people to watch the game. But I do got a caller to bring on now, and
Yeah.
this is a BoyGreen Coffee Club favorite. It's Hep.
Ooh.
Can you see me? There you go. Hey, fellas.
What's up, Hep?
Hey, Dallas is looking pretty
How you
good, huh?
doing, Hep?
Oh, wow. Yeah.
Yeah. No, Mrs. Happy was talking to me in the background. Yeah, so everything, Dallas is looking good. I'm curious about the Jets. I'm curious. I was telling Paul Boy Green earlier about what the chess game is going to be between what is our offense going to look like, what are our defense going to look like, how are we going to adapt, all those things. I'm curious because it's almost like opening a box at Christmas time. You don't know what you got, so. And I'm also curious now to see what Beck is going to be doing. Anthony Beck, because with he looked really good in preseason. He was catching everything and he was moving really fast. He's a big boy too. coming out of the backfield, in that first position, uh, you can do some real damage opening up holes, especially in that guard spot. If you have to push through that center in that guard position. I don't know. What do you guys think? You think Beck's going to have a big role, or is he going to be just like kind of like invisible, like with the Salah era?
No, I don't think he was the first signing of Darren Muji for no reason. Like that was just random. I think Darren Muji and AG are on the same page that there's a physicality, there's a tone. Not every NFL team features a fullback, but the Jets will be. They want to be punishing, smash mouth. They want to run the football a lot. And so to me, I think Andrew Beck's going to be a big piece of what the Jets do. We saw it in the preseason game, obviously, against the Packers. So
Yeah.
maybe every drive won't be like that, where our wide receiver 2 is apparently Andrew Beck next to Garrett Wilson. I'm not quite sure if we get there. But yeah, I think Andrew Beck is going to be a big piece of everything the Jets do. And even if it doesn't show up statistically, right, like he doesn't get 5 catches for this many yards, I just think that he's gonna be, and we all have someone like this on our sports teams, whether it's basketball or football, that just does the grimy work. He doesn't care if he gets credit for it. He just delivers, and we all need someone like that on the team that just doesn't care. Team guy, is willing to contribute however they need. Maybe one play it's a block, another play it's a catch, another play it's faking it out, and there's a decoy. Oh, it's that. Oh, it leads to a second or third level play, and that will never show up in the box score. So, yeah, I think Andrew Beck's going to be a big part of what we do. What say you, Ricky?
I completely agree. And having those guys that are willing to do the dirty work without all the accolades, I mean that's huge. Whether it be like Calvin Pace, or whether it's like Harrison Phillips talking about I'll take the double teams and open up Q. You got to have those role player guys on your team, and yeah, I concur 100%. I don't think he was their very first signing by coincidence. I think they have a vision, and I think they have a plan for him and how they're going to use him. And yeah, so I definitely, it's funny. Like when Hep first said it, like I was like, wait a minute, did he say Anthony Beck? Like, is he calling the game or something? What's he doing? So apologies for that. I misheard it, but yeah, man, no, I think Beck's definitely going to have a role, and you know what? Who knows? Maybe it's Beck that does that chipping on TJ Watt and gives him that little bit of extra elbow grease to keep him off our quarterback. So
Oh,
it'll be curious to see how they use him. But yeah, I think they definitely have a plan for him, as they do for many of these guys. And man, I just can't wait. Like I keep, other than the words "at any rate," which my wife was just commenting this morning about how
you
much I
gotta,
say that,
you gotta
and I
get a
actually got
T-shirt
a DM
at
from
any rate.
yeah, I know. I actually got a DM from Jet Johnny this morning asking for an audio clip of me saying "at any rate" for him to put in a new song that he's working on, and I guess I do say that. The other thing that I always seem to be saying is "can't wait." I'm always saying that,
Can't
and
wait.
maybe I'm channeling my inner Bart Scott. I don't know. But I think it's just because I'm so anxious for this season to actually get here and to see this Aaron Glenn team and what they can do. So, but I promise you, once Sunday gets here, I'll stop saying "can't wait." I might
Say
not
it,
I
Ricky.
might
Do
not stop
whatever you
saying "at any
want.
rate," but
Yeah. And let's be honest, Ricky. So, right, we can't wait for week 1, and that's true. It's 3 days away, and I'm gonna get tomorrow. Like in 3 hours, it's 2 days away, which is wild. But then you're gonna be like, can't wait for week 2, Buffalo Bills. Can't wait for week 3, Tampa Bay game where you guys are all doing your action. Week 4, Monday Night Football. So the can't wait, I imagine, will be a consistent theme here on Ricky New York.
At any rate, I can't wait.
it probably will. Yeah, yes. At any rate, can't wait. Absolutely.
Thanks, fellas.
Thanks,
And
Hep.
yes, thank you so much, Hep, for calling in, and thanks for your support, man. Hep has been a consistent caller and a great caller ever since the show started, and Yes, I know. I hear it. My wife commenting on the rain, like, man, it sounds like there's just hammers falling on my roof right now.
I can't
Sunshine
even hear it
State, my
across the
ass.
mic. So yeah, I can't even hear it. But I thought when you looked up, you were looking at God. Perhaps I was like, God, huh? Huh? But rain. Okay, yeah.
Yeah. No, yeah. It was the rain coming down. Like it was like deathly quiet in here, and then just all of a sudden, which good job, noise cancellation, Mike, getting rid of that background noise for me. But yeah, man, it's sounds like it's really coming down out there. But you know, that hopefully that's a sign of things to come because come Sunday, Steelers players are going to be going down like that. Bigger they are, the harder they fall. And
Damn straight.
speaking of bigger they are, it sounds like we may be facing a no Cam Hayward Steelers team, by the sounds of it. Was not at practice, was not with his team today, and some sort of contract dispute going on there. And so, who knows? Hey, anything that gives us a little bit of edge in this first week, I will absolutely take it as we're kind of with a brand new thing, brand new schemes, and trying to get our footing. I'll take any advantage we can get. And yeah, man, I'm just pumped. I'm just pumped. Like with the Sala era and Aaron Rodgers, it was like a lot of build up and then a big letdown and stuff. But like I don't know, I was never 100% on board with Sala, but Aaron Glenn, like you know, that was my guy from the very beginning. And I've been his most avid supporter ever since we started looking for a coach. And I think he's absolutely the right guy for the job. And I just can't wait, man. I'm really fired up to see what this product is going to look like on the field. Um, one last time, I'm going to throw a little PSA up for people. If you got headphones on, you might want to turn them down because this tends to get a little bit loud.
Listen up, all you incredible people out there looking at your computers, looking at your phones, make sure you like and subscribe to Rickie New York, baby. JETS, yes.
Wow. Wow.
Bringing
I love that.
the energy, always.
King Loki.
Love King Los. Absolutely, man. And I'm gonna start winding this down. I'm gonna let you go so you can enjoy the first game of the NFL season. And before I go, let me see here. Everybody, make sure that you go and check out the debut album from our boy Blitz BK. And before I sign off, I'm going to give you guys a little bit of Blitz BK music that he did for me for the show. And thank you so much, Paul, for joining me. I appreciate having you on here and you taking time out from your day to join me.
Yeah.
Anytime you want to come on, I'd be more than happy to have you, man. Awesome.
Yeah. Two things here. First off, again, apologies for showing up late to the party, for God's sakes. I'm an idiot. Number two, anytime, Rickie, I'd love to come on. I love coming on with you. It's great for the role reversal here, where you're the one asking the questions and telling me what's going on. So that's a fun role reversal, and you're doing a killer job, man. So so excited for you.
All right, man. Cool. I definitely appreciate it, Paul, as always. And I will see you in the rest of the coffee club bright and early tomorrow morning. And
Mike,
with that, thank you so much. And I'm going to play a little bit of Blitz BK to play us out here at the end of the night, man. Everybody have a great night and go Jets.
There's a brand new show
that you can stream. Dropping that knowledge like a guillotine. You about to score big like a touchdown drive because Rickie New York is about to go live. So subscribe now and do not settle. We taking YouTube content to a whole new level. We got the best roster at every position. These are the brand new Jets. So please stop your bitching. If negativity's a problem, we got the solution. It's called the next step and just fan evolution. Football is back. You better brace for collision because Rickie New York Live's gonna smoke the competition. It's time for some action. Someone hit the lights. Cause it's about the fans of the green and white. Opinions that are stronger than a mountain of steel. And a mouth that's faster than hell on wheels, yo. A war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. Going up against Rickie New York Live. A war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. A war of words, no one will survive. Going up against Rickie New York Live.
All right. Peace, everybody. Have a great night. Oh, nope, we don't need that a second time. Peace, everybody. Have a great night. Everybody enjoy the game. And I will see you all on Sunday. And I will see you guys for the post-game show on next Tuesday at our regular time of 8 p.m. Until then, go Jets.